Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I'm Reverend Catherine Bonin, and I'm your host this morning. It's my pleasure to be here today. If this is your first time here, we are thrilled that you've chosen to join us. And with the benefit of modern technology, we are so grateful for the opportunity to touch so many people across this country through Zoom and Facebook. This morning, we actually have people here from North Carolina and South Carolina, Colorado, California, New Mexico, and Texas. Wow, the power of technology, right? What a wonderful community. And it's so great to be able to be so expansive and touch people all over the country and soon all over the world. So there's so many things happening here at CSL Charlotte. I invite you to visit our website, which is cslcharlotte.org. And there you can see all the happenings. You can put in a prayer request and you can subscribe so you get regular updates about all the things that are happening here. We also add the recordings of the Sunday talks each week to the website so you can see them there. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community that's living an ancient wisdom philosophy. And this philosophy is based on the teaching of the science of mind, which was developed in the early 20th century by writer, philosopher, and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. He was a man on a mission. He loved studying the truths from all of the world's religions, traditions, philosophies, and spiritual paths. And from that, he developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we each fit into this world. At CSL Charlotte, we honor every philosophy, every religious tradition, every path to God, along with every race, every sexual orientation, and every physical distinction. This is a diverse community. We know that there are many paths to the divine. We know that you can call it God, peace, love, spirit, the universe, anything you want to call it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you know it, that you have a personal relationship with it, and that you connect with that power that lives within you. You don't have to leave your philosophy or the nature of knowledge that you grew up in. You can join us anytime. You can honor any philosophy and any path. Just we're happy that you're here and able to be a part of this community. We recognize and refer to the many holy scriptures like the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Gita, just to name a few. Our vision statement is to continue to develop a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of leaders who can fully integrate and teach and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, the body, and the spirit. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community and to support them in finding their own way with that high level of consciousness. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us on Sundays and also on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we meet for a consciousness meeting to use and learn some of these tools. So once again, I want to welcome you and invite you to enjoy this service as we celebrate that light, that powerful presence that lives within every one of us. And now it's my pleasure to turn the mic over to our guest speaker today, Reverend Karen.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Catherine. You know, I met Reverend Catherine, I think for the first time on this platform, but we were in ministerial school. We probably had some all-campus retreats together. But all of our MCs are beautiful speakers, and I want to say something special about each one when I'm talking and they're on, but Reverend Catherine has a prayer voice. Her voice is so welcoming and so soft and so strong, and it just makes me want to ask for prayer when she's talking. So it's just a pleasure to have you with us, Reverend Catherine, and thank you for your service always. And before I name people, I'm not going to name people yet, but everybody on this platform is a family and they're all special. We all work together. We all have each other's back. And I know they've got my back this morning. So if I make any mistakes or whatever, it's okay because they're there for me. And so welcome to our CSL Charlotte home. We're going to have crumpets and tea and coffee and orange juice and whatever you want to eat, and just sit around and have a nice discussion. So welcome to our home. And before we start with anything else, we always start with a prayer, and that is so very special for all of us. And our prayer person today is none other than our prayer tree arborist, our emeritus practitioner, Reverend Maureen Thurston, who is so special in my life. She was the registrar in ministerial school the whole time I went. And I'm so happy that she was, because if it weren't for her, I probably would have dropped out 20 times and have never made it to where I made it without her guidance and her pep talks and everything. So Maureen, please take the light of prayer and honor us with a beautiful prayer this morning.
Thank you, Reverend Karen. You guys are the best, absolutely. So as we settle into where we each are within our homes, within office space, no matter where we are an amazing community here. And as I know that as we step into this Sunday morning service, I know without a doubt that the message that Reverend Karen is going to share with us touches each and every one of us down to the core of who we are. I know that this service flows easily and smoothly, that everything that we need for technology to be smooth is done and in place. I know that as we celebrate this time together here on this Sunday, that each one of us hear what we need to hear, we take it into heart, which then allows us to take it into the rest of our week. So I call this service open and blessed, and know that every word that is spoken is touched and heard by all of us on our individual journeys. And so I release and I let go, and I call this service open and loving and amazing. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Maureen. Your prayers are beautiful. I can't say enough about them. They're always spot on and just from your heart. And you're wearing those higher chakra colors today too. So that goes right with who you are. And what comes out of your mouth in prayer is beauty and love and heart. And so thank you, darling, for starting me off with that beautiful prayer. And now I'm going to introduce our beautiful reader, Jariva, who has a reading on that goes right along with the talk. The talk is the power of our word, and her reading is the spiritual power of words. And Jariva is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful member of this team, and her readings are always spot on. So Jariva, please take that light of the book for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Karen. So today's reading, The Spiritual Power of Words by Kristen Houghton. We have at our disposal a power that can change lives, make a sick spirit healthy, encourage success, guide those who need it, make or break relationships, and create a lasting impression of us as people. The power is the power of words. All of us use words in everyday conversation. That's the human way of communication. We talk. Words are more powerful than anything on earth. But do we ever seriously think about what we're saying to another person or how we're saying it? Tone of voice and body language all play into what we communicate. How do our words impact our relationships with others? The words you speak to others will determine the feedback you get from them. The ancients believed that the spoken word contained the power and authority of the gods. In later centuries, any person who could actually write words was elevated almost to the level of the divine. Words dictated how life should be lived, what you could or couldn't do. They could be used for good or for harm. There were spells, there were prayers. The power of words was awesome. Words spoken or written still hold power today. They can inspire us to achieve goals, or they can hold us back from even trying. One simple sentence can make a difference in how a situation is perceived. When you say you can't, it means you won't. That statement is profound in its simplicity. The meaning is clear. If you think you can't, chances are good you won't. The power of words is psychological. Intentionally, negative words can lower self-esteem, kill the joy of enthusiasm, and change your attitude about life. Well-chosen positive words, on the other hand, even just one simple word, can motivate and encourage dreams and bring about life changes. What an amazing power we have in words. But words are sometimes used as sharp, barbed weapons too. A child who is told he or she is bad believes it and may live up to that statement. The power of cruel words can damage relationships as well. Said in anger, they still have the power to crush and destroy a person's self-esteem. Words used to uplift, to motivate, to comfort have a meaning well beyond simple letters strung together. They are powerful in how they make a person feel. Their emotional impact can define a life or change an outlook. Words make human errors forgivable. Dr. Maya Angelou used words to tell us why we should forgive any mistakes we made in our past. It is hauntingly beautiful. You did then what you knew how to do. When you knew better, you did better. Those two sentences free you to forgive yourself and understand that you are not the same person you may have been at a terrible time in your life. Words are empowering and they can empower you to make healthy and positive life changes. Writers use words to entertain, to make us think and to inspire. Like a beautiful mosaic, words fill in the corners and crevices of our lives, making us laugh, cry, and ponder. The words you speak can have a profound effect on the people they reach. Do we place too much power on words, spoken or written? Perhaps actions are more suited to our modern lives. I cannot believe this is true, for while we surely need acts of kindness, acts of love, we need words too. Words convey more than actions because they unite us. Words bring us together in a way no action can. This can be seen in the eyes of someone learning to read. A door to a new world has been opened before them, and words are the key that has unlocked it. The power of words is magical, spiritual, incredible. Nothing is more powerful than words. Use them well in your life. And so it is.
Wow. That I picked that song specifically to pump us up because we talk about the power of our word a lot. Most of us have had many years in study of science of mind. Some of us are brand new to it, but so many things we have read from the science of mind authors, from Ernest Holmes, classes we've taken talk about the power of our word. And it seems simple, but it's not. It's I am, and there, God has many names. We always talk about the different names for God. One of the names for God is I am. God is referred to as the I am. And so that's how powerful it is when we incorporate that I am into our lives. We're expressing and releasing that God self that is within us. So it's like, and before I go on, I want to thank Jeriva for that beautiful reading. I want to thank everybody again, Reverend Catherine and Maureen, for the prayer, and our music techs, the people behind the scenes that get our songs on and take them off and know when to start and end them. Awesome. They do a beautiful job. And I also want to give a thanks to my sexy stage manager, Alan, the A-Team Alan, who's going to let me know when to wind it down and get off the air. So without him, I'd be lost because I don't time anything. So I just talk. And that's what a lot of ministers just talk. And so I'm living up to the minister name. Okay, that song. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love stories. I love to share stories, especially about myself, because I can really relate to stories about myself. I am a writer, and I just had a book published, my second book, called The Magic Christmas Trees. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because in 1981 I started writing that draft. I wrote the whole thing, 1981, 1982. I wrote the whole first draft of that story. But because of my self-talk, I didn't do anything with it. I shoved it away. It was in a folder, a hardcover folder for years. And I took it with me wherever I moved. I moved to a lot of places. I went through husbands, and it went through husbands with me. It went through homes with me. It went through jobs with me. But my self-talk was, I'm not good enough. Who's going to want to read what I have to write? So I kept it away for like almost 40 years, if not more. And just this past 1983, from 1981 and 1982, how many years is that? I got the nerve, and through God connections, I met a woman who is my editor, and she did my first book for me, which gave me the impetus, the acknowledgement that, yeah, I am good enough to be a published author. And so she took on my book as my editor, and it's now out. And it's like, how many years did my self-talk, how many years did me saying I'm not good enough, I don't have anything to say, who am I to think I'd have a book published? All that negative talk in my head kept that book in numerous cubby holes in my life, never to come out again. And when I finally did take it out, it was on yellow legal pad paper. It was typed on an old-fashioned typewriter. It had paper wormholes all over it, and I had to redo the whole thing on my computer. But yeah, because now my self-talk was changing to I am not good enough to I am a published writer. I have something to say. This story is good. This story is wonderful. It needs to go out into the world. And that's part of my ministry, is writing, because I write with a message. You know, there's always a message. And to me, the Christmas trees have a lot of messages to give people. And I'm just so happy that I finally changed that narrative around in my head. And you know, there's something, and Jariba sent me a copy of her reading, and before the reading started, there's a little couple of sentences here that say, in it all, intentionally negative words can lower self-esteem and kill enthusiasm. Well-chosen positive words, on the other hand, can motivate and encourage dreams. And that is so important, because that's exactly what my words did in my life with that book. And you know, we talk about the power of our words. So they've done studies with both sexes, males and females, that we speak between 15 and 16,000 words a day, you know. But what do our words really have the power? Like, when the words come out of our mouth, do they go shooting off into the universe and manifest stuff for us? No. Where does the power start with our words? You know, a lot of times when we're angry with somebody, we might have a fight with somebody, and we might just spew hateful words without even thinking about it. They're just coming out. And what our brain does is hears those words that we're giving out to somebody else, and it turns them against ourselves. So we're by spewing hateful words, we're creating an atmosphere of negativity, an atmosphere of hate, an atmosphere of unacceptance, and that comes back to bite us. So that's not a good thing to do. And when our words are positive and kind, you know, actions of kindness and love are very important, but I don't think we'd even be able to be kind if we didn't have kind words coming in our brain. You know, the power behind our words is not the word itself, it's the thought behind the word. Because our brain, our words come from our brain. So if I say, I'm a horrible runner, I can't run, it's not just words that are coming out. There's a process going on in my brain that is believing that. So if I did try to run, I would get out of breath really quickly, because my brain would say, you're a horrible runner, you can't run, right? You can't cook. I can't cook. So I'm a terrible cook. So if I say that, my brain is embracing that you're a terrible cook. And so if I go to make a meal, I'm going to burn something. It's going to be raw. It's not going to turn out right because my brain is programming me, my actions to fail. And one of the, we celebrate these giants in the technology industry, in the computer industry, and all that. Do you know that God, since we were developed, I don't know how many thousands of years ago, we have the most intelligent, updated brain computer, which is our brain in our head. God made this computer. God gave us this computer. It's called a brain. And it is so intelligent. It is so advanced that these giants in the computer industry can't even begin to make a computer that is as intelligent as our brain or works as well as our brain, the computer we have in our head. And it is a computer. It really, it maps out what we're going to do. It maps out how we're going to do something. The minute we change our self-talk, and we believe it, belief is important. We have to believe it. I can't say, oh, I'm a great cook, but I don't believe it, because if I don't believe it, I'm still going to try to cook, and it's not going to happen. It's going to be a disaster. So we have to believe. We have to believe, and it takes practice. We can't just make ourselves believe something that we've had negative thoughts about maybe our whole lives or for a long, long time. But there is hope, because according to Science of Mind, page 142, under the subheading, The Atmosphere of Thinking, Ernest writes, thought attracts what is like itself and repels what is unlike. We are drawn toward those things that we mentally image. That which thought has done, this is the good part though, that which thought has done, thought can undo. Lifelong habits of wrong thinking can be consciously and deliberately changed. Now that is great news, because just because we've thought one way for so long doesn't mean that we have to live our whole lives out with that thought. We can change it. We can practice and we can change it. And the more we practice, the more we believe, the more we embrace what we believe, the more things will change. And, when we have practitioners going through classes and ministers, but mostly in our practitioner classes, they're learning how to pray with people. They're learning how to pray for themselves. And what they learn about prayer in our prayer classes is the passion. And Ernest would say, if you pray without passion, it's just words coming out, doesn't really mean anything. But the passion in our heart, the passion that we are praying for ourselves when we are praying for somebody else, because what that means is we have to believe it. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe what we are praying for. Now, I have never learned how to swim, but ever since I was a little girl, I've been saying to myself, I can't swim. Consequently, I can't swim. It's not such a bad thing, but it would be nice to know how to swim, especially if I'm going on a boat ride somewhere and the boat tips over. I'd like to learn how to swim. I'd like to know how to swim. But because I have said that since a child, I can't swim, I don't even try. And I've got grandkids ever since they were little. They'd say, Grandma, we'll teach you how to swim. We'll teach you how to swim. And they really believed that they could teach this grandma how to swim, who is afraid to get her face wet and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I never gave myself the chance. I still don't know how to swim. And there's times I've thought about joining the Y or something and taking swimming lessons. And then I think, oh, I'm too old. See, there's another negative. I'm too old to learn how to swim. I'm too old to go to the Y and take swimming lessons. So how many negatives have I just spewed out here? And I'm talking about the power of our word, and listen to me. I'm giving real life examples of myself, a minister, a practitioner, who is still using that power against myself. I'm using it against myself. And that's sad. It's really sad. So it took me 3 years to join ministerial school before I wrote my application up, because there again, I kept saying, you can't be a minister. What do you have to say? Ministers know what they're doing. You don't, you can't give talks. You don't have anything to say. What makes you think you'd be a good minister? And so I kept putting off my application process and kept putting it off and putting it off until finally one day a friend of mine came to me who had started ministerial school at the beginning when I wanted to with her. She said, they just opened a new campus in LA. You don't have to go to Seaside. So why don't you check it out? And I did. And I signed up and I started ministerial school. And I finished, you know, I was pretty good. And so I'm a minister. But I had to change that thought. I had to change that thought process that went on so many years of, who are you? You're not good enough. I am not good enough to be a minister, is what my mind was saying. I am not. Instead of saying, I can be a minister. I am a minister already. I am a spiritual minded person. I am full of love and passion for the word of God. But I didn't say that. I say that now. Now I know differently. And so I've changed that around. It's like, you know, it can be undone. And I have many lifelong negatives that I have undone. And some that I'm still working on, I'm doing, you know. And I have to give a lot of credit to Reverend Rosedale. Here's another example of words, right? Reverend Rosedale is my nutrition coach, and she's really good at it. What she doesn't do is ever ask me how much I weigh. She doesn't say, you know, she doesn't berate me. She doesn't lecture me. She just asks me, what is your plan for eating? How are you doing things differently? What have you, you know what? So, I don't know. I went to a Sillamar a few weeks ago. When I came back, I was in a crappy mood. I was like, oh, I don't know. It was like I got physically ill. I think I was depressed, and I don't know if it was just too much spirituality coming at me from all different directions. It was like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. I can't take it. But I had no energy. I couldn't do anything. I would get out of bed and I would go lay down on the couch. I would try and go for a walk, and I would sometimes make myself do a little walk here or there. And, you know, I usually do yoga classes on Monday and Wednesdays with Reverend Rosedale. And I didn't do those. I didn't even sign in. So Rosedale, after a couple of weeks of this crap going on, where I was just like, because like a depression kind of hit in, and Rosedale sent me a text message. And I opened it up, and it was quite long. And I read it really quickly, and I went, oh my God, that's mean. She's being so mean to me. And I got really upset. And then I said, no, read it again. Rosedale is not mean. She wouldn't be mean to you. So read it again. So I opened it up again, and I really read it this time. I read it with an open mind. And what she did was, she wasn't babying me. And I was like put off by that. I want to be babied. I want to be, oh, you poor thing. She did not do that. What she did was stick a firecracker up my butt so that I would get moving and get off the couch and put my shoes on and go for a walk and take care of myself. And that's what I did. I read it the second time, and I put my walking clothes on. I put my walking shoes on, and I said, thank you, Reverend Rosedale, for kicking me in the butt and getting my ass out here to walk. And so that's what I did. And it helped change that mindset I had of, woe is me, poor me. I don't even know what it was about. I have no idea what it was about, but it went away. After a week, I went back to yoga class. I was walking every day, and I felt wonderful. And I kept saying to myself, you are not depressed. You are not depressed. You can take a walk this morning. You can take a walk this morning. You want to take a walk this morning. And then I would say, I am strong. I am valuable. I am worthy of taking care of myself. And without that firecracker in the text message, I probably would have made an excuse about why I couldn't talk today. I don't know. I have no idea where it came from or what it was telling me, and I don't really care because that's not important. The important thing is I'm out of it. I got out of it, and thank you, Reverend Rosedale Sheet, for kicking me in the butt. It's like, whoa, I needed that. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need somebody to say, hey, shake yourself up, just shake it out, get out, do it, do this, do that, but she didn't do it in a lecturing way. She did it in a loving way. It's like, she was actually concerned about me, she was concerned. So I changed the next song we have coming on is called Changing My Narrative, and it's a beautiful song. And that's what I did. I changed my narrative. I changed the way I was thinking. The thought process in my computer was telling me, was giving power to my words. It's the thought process that makes us act and take the action or not take the action about what we want to do, what we can do, what we should do, what we ought to do. And I know we never should on ourselves. That's another thing is science of mine. Don't should on yourself. Okay, so I'm not shoulding on myself, but I'm just so happy that I changed my mind. And thought attracts what is like. And when I read that, thought attracts what is like itself and repels what is unlike. So when I'm thinking negative thoughts about myself, my brain thought process is attracting those negative thoughts, and it's repelling the positive side of those thoughts. It's not even looking at what I can do. It's looking at how I'm telling myself I can't or I'm not. Right? That's what it's telling me. And it's amazing. They count the amount of words that we say each day, 15 to 16,000, but nobody, I don't think they can count the number of thoughts that go through our head because they're constant. They don't stop. It's like the air outside, it just doesn't go away. So how many trillions or zillions of thoughts pass through our computer, our brain, every second? Every second. I mean, it must be astronomical. I think if we knew, we'd get depressed. I don't know. If there's a negative, we would not get depressed. We'd get determined to make them, all those thoughts, beautiful. It's like, get up in the morning and look in the mirror and smile. Just smiling changes our whole attitude, changes the way we feel. And say, I am special. I am special. And we are. God did not make mistakes. God did not make anything that wasn't special, and we're special. And so thank you, Alan's giving me the wrap it up sign there. I don't think I said everything I wanted to say, but I think I said enough. And we're going to have our next song is going to be Changing My Narrative. That's song number 2. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what we have to do. We have to change our narrative, write our own story, and make it what we want it to be and believe it. And the more we do that, the more we believe in ourselves, because we are special. We are the I am. God made us from itself, and that's who we are, and we are special. So every day, look in the mirror, smile to yourself, and say it. Okay. Oh my gosh, it was so nice to have Reverend Rosedale close us out like that and thank everybody. She's such a beautiful person. And our next song that's going to come on, I picked this because it's the sound of silence. And when our brains get so full of thoughts and our mouths get so full of words, sometimes we can't hear God. So to take that moment, just a moment or two, and just try to go into silence, try to clear ourselves as much as we can, to listen to God, to feel our heart. God speaks through our heart, and hear what it's saying to us. It's so very important. So With that, I believe the next song is coming on, and then after the song, Mo is going to pray us out with a beautiful prayer. I really did go into the silence, didn't I, Alan? Well, that's so beautiful. I love that pan flute. I love those two guys, and hearing God. Yeah, going into the silence and hearing God. That's what it's all about. Because that's when we can listen and we can hear and listen to what God's telling us, how God is guiding us, what journey do we need to take. It's always our choice. God gives us a choice. But to be able to hear what those choices are in a loving, beautiful way is so important to us. So thank you all again. Like Rosedale thanked everybody, I thank this beautiful family here, and Reverend Maureen, emeritus practitioner Maureen, she's like a reverend, is going to pray us out with our closing prayer. And Maureen.
Thank you. So once again, I am so grateful for this community and for the wonderful message that Reverend Karen shared with us today, and how she always comes from that deep place within her heart. So I know that as we go through the rest of our Sunday and into this wonderful new week that we are facing, I know that each and every day brings us light and joy, laughter and love. For we are examples of all of that, and we carry that forward with us throughout the rest of today and in through this amazing week ahead of us. I know that our lives are filled continually with grace and with love and with ease. And so as I release this time that we have spent together here, I once again say thank you to each and every one of you who have shown up here today. And so with a grateful heart and a heart filled with love, laughter, and joy for each and every one of you, I call this service blessed, our day blessed, and our week ahead blessed. And so it is.
Thank you, Maureen. As always, your prayers are just so beautiful. So to end on that note with that beautiful prayer, if you have any leftovers, if you want to bring scones home with you, just let us know and we'll wrap them up in a little baggie and you can take them on home as you leave our beautiful house. So thank you all for being with us today. Thank you, team, this beautiful family here. Every single one of you are special, are beautiful, are so wonderful and so important in my life. I want you to know that. And with that, I'll say, have a beautiful Sunday.